What's going on, everyone? This is Benjamin Dixon with Your Black World and the Benjamin Dixon Show. And I wanted to take a minute to talk about my friend Corey Jones, who was killed by a police officer in Florida, in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, on Sunday morning at 3:15 in the morning. Corey was a good guy. Corey was the best of guys. He was a good dude. He was dedicated. I knew him for about 10, maybe 12 years. I can't remember when I actually met Corey, but I know it was about 10, 12 years ago. And we played together. In another lifetime, I was a musician, and I directed music at a church right down the street from his home church. And when I needed somebody, I was able to call on Corey, and he came and filled in whenever I needed him to fill in. And then he played with us for a year, every Thursday night for rehearsal, every Sunday morning. He was my go-to guy. And even after that, we stayed in touch. When I moved to Boston, he found me on Facebook, and we stayed in touch over Facebook. Corey was accomplished. Corey was a college graduate. He was working for the city. He was an accomplished musician. He was a family man. He took care of his responsibilities. He wasn't married. He didn't have any kids. He was a young guy starting his life out, doing everything right in church every single Sunday, doing all the things that the system says that you should do, and that still did not stop the police from killing him. And notwithstanding the loss, first I want to send my love to the Jones family and the Banks family of Bible Church of God down there in Boynton. Their church is a sister church to the church I was a part of, St. John in Boynton Beach, Florida, for 10, 12 years. And, right down the street, we a lot of love for them. So, Bishop Banks and the family and all the cousins, McGrady and Terry and all of you guys want to just send my love. I didn't really know the Corey's immediate family as well. I knew his cousins a lot more because we were all musicians. So it's just, Corey, no matter what story they have to concoct to get this police officer off, when you know somebody, you know them. And you know what they're capable of. And you know that even at 3 o'clock in the morning, the only reason Corey would have a confrontation is if he felt his life was threatened. He was actually licensed to carry a weapon. I don't know that he had a weapon on him that night. The police report said a weapon, but they didn't say what type of weapon. For all we know, like Sean King said, his weapon could have just been the fact that he was black. So it's really difficult to talk about him because of all the people. It's like Corey was one of the best dudes I knew. He was a really good guy. I want to thank Dr. Watkins and Your Black World because they were the very first ones to get this story out on a national level. I emailed Dr. Watkins on Sunday night, and I was going to try to write the story up, but I couldn't write it up. And Dr. Watkins said he'll do it himself. So he wrote it up and put it on his website. And he was the very first national outlet to actually talk about it in a significant way. So I want to thank him for his platform. And then I want to thank Sean King over at the New York Daily News. He was able to pick it up and take it even further. DeRay McKesson, the people some key players in Black Lives Matter. We do a lot of intellectual criticism, and that's what happens when your peers. You look at each other's work and you discuss how their work could be better. But when your friend becomes a hashtag, you're just grateful that there are people out there with platforms that can hold this system accountable, that even if they get away with it, because they tend to still get away with things, they don't get away with it as easily. And there's a pressure that's being brought on a national level now. The Washington Post picked up the story, NBC, CBS, they've picked up the story. Thanks to Roland Martin for picking up the story. Without national coverage, they would have been able to brush this. They were intent on brushing this underneath the carpet. I know because I reached out to the police department of Palm Beach Gardens, and not only were they complete assholes about it, they were not forthcoming whatsoever. and they have not given any meaningful information. 3 days later, nothing meaningful. So, if not for Black Lives Matter, if not for Dr. Watkins, if not for Sean King, if not for DeRay McKesson, if not for all the people that could get this national coverage, this would not have national coverage. So, when someone is a victim of police violence, it becomes a reality that's different than when it's not someone you know personally. And I want to thank every person out there who is fighting on behalf of people that they don't know. We can save all the intellectual criticism for another day, because if it wasn't for these guys, nobody would know about this situation. And I think about all the other cases that we've talked about in the past. If it wasn't for social media, if it wasn't for influencers, nobody would know about these situations, and the police would have gotten away with so much more than they're capable of getting away with now. So I just want to I just wanted to share that gratitude to everyone who's gotten this message out, because it's a national thing now. And last thing I want to say, and I'm sorry if I'm scattered. I'm just I'm not really able to focus as much as I like to, not able to speak with the same clarity that I normally would, or at least try to. But I want to say this to all my friends in South Florida. I hear Yvette Carnell in my ears ringing over and over and over again. We can't wait on God to fix something. If we wait on God to fix this, we're abdicating our responsibilities to do the work here. And I see a lot of my friends, a lot of my colleagues from South Florida who are hurt, who are angry, who are disillusioned, and they're being comforted by their faith. And I would just challenge you and say that faith without works is dead. I have no need to put my faith aside, but at the same time, it's boots on the ground. If I have to come to South Florida, I most certainly will. But I know there are leaders there. I know there are people there who can do this. I know there are people who can organize a march to get down to Palm Beach Gardens City Hall. I know there are people who can start a rally, a protest, a boycott, to do the things that are necessary. And I think this is a testament to why, even if we don't agree 100% with Black Lives Matter all the time, and even if we don't agree with Dr. Watkins all the time, and DeRay and Sean all the time, it's important that these people and these outlets exist before these things happen. I don't believe that there's a large Black Lives Matter chapter in South Florida. I would challenge people to start these chapters everywhere, so that when something like this happens, that we're already mobilized, and that we're not reactive, but we're proactive. So, I don't know. It's just a lot on my mind. Corey was a good friend. I knew Corey for a long time. I didn't know his personal family as much as I knew his cousins, and Terry and McGrady and all the other guys. Nick, Sam, the organist down at Bible Church of God. I want to say this to everyone, that the family is hurting right now. It's not their job to go out here and seek justice, to extract justice and to demand justice. They're hurting. Let them do whatever they need to do. But it's up to us, those of us who knew the kind of man he was. And not even just that, just those of us who are tired of this. How close does it have to get before we all are mobilized? Every single one of us, and even every one of us, don't wait till it's your friend whose name is behind a hashtag to get involved. Don't wait, because it may not be a friend. It may be a family member. God forbid. It may be your name behind a hashtag. So let's not wait until then to mobilize. We should be mobilizing every single day. And even if you don't agree with the organization that's doing the mobilization, who cares? When it's your friend, you want everybody. You want all hands on deck. So, I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to anyone else. The intellectual criticism that we do, when it's your friend, you don't care. You don't care. It's like, You want all hands on deck, and so that it's no one else, so that it's no one else's friend, no one else's son, no one else's daughter, no one else's person. That this comes to an end, and it's up to us. You guys have a great day.